So we can't go around our self-image. Like, you can't fool yourself and start becoming something else without first expanding that self-image. And so realizing that all of our actions, our feelings, our behaviors, and even our abilities are always going to be consistent with our self-image.
You're watching Developing Potential with Diana Keuilian.
Hi, friend. Today we're talking about our self-image. And the question that I've posed is, how can we raise our self-image? Now, what is self-image? Self-image is really the blueprint that we have, is internal blueprint that we have for who we are. And this is a limiter that we place on ourselves because this blueprint determines how successful we can be, how happy we can be, really the growth and the trajectory that we have in life. And so you can see that, we're here together on a self-development journey. That's why you watch this show. That's why I do this, right? We want to grow. We want to continue to evolve and get to that next level of ourselves and uncover more of our radiance, right? We're on this journey intentionally. And so when we realize that our self-image is the blueprint that's really putting the limiter on our growth and our trajectory, we realize, gosh, raising my self-image is really key to this success in this self-growth journey, right? And so today I'm excited to talk about this topic, and a lot of what I've learned about self-image psychology comes from the book Psycho-Cybernetics. Maybe you've heard of this book before. It's written by Maxwell Maltz. I've got a copy here. Some people call this the Bible of self-help books, which it really does have that much weight in, Tony Robbins references and has used this book. Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, like these huge personalities and leaders in the field of self-development reference this book. And there's a reason for that. Maxwell Maltz was a plastic surgeon back in the 40s and the 50s, the 1940s and the 1950s. And he noticed that as he does surgery on different people, they have different reactions. And so somebody may have a scar, maybe they got in a car accident, they have a scar, and it's really impacted them in a negative way. And so he would come in as the plastic surgeon, let's fix this, let's get rid of this disfigurement. And some of them would return to their normal selves, go back to being confident and happy. And then other people would get a surgery because they had some perceived flaw and nothing would change. And he even encountered people who would look in the mirror and say, like, nothing looks different. And here he is, this surgeon that just, let's say, redid their nose. And it's like, no, it's exactly what you wanted. And they would look in the mirror and say, like, no, I look the same. And so this got him thinking about, what is this concept of self-image? And I really think that he was the pioneer to even give self-image a name and really start the study of self-image psychology, because it fascinated him so much. And so there's really three things here that I pulled from his book that really can help us to update that blueprint that we have of ourselves, like expand it, right? You're watching this show because you have bigger dreams. Like, you have another version of yourself that you want to grow into. And so these ideas from Maxwell Maltz are really important to learning how to really rewrite that blueprint of yourself. So this is super exciting things. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is how self-image is really your golden key to a better life. So really understanding that this blueprint that you've subconsciously formed is the limiter. And so once we know that, hey, if I can expand my self-image, I can change and grow and move on to that next version of myself. And so realizing that all of our actions, our feelings, our behaviors, and even our abilities are always going to be consistent with our self-image. So we can't go around our self-image. Like, you can't fool yourself and start becoming something else without first expanding that self-image. And so everything else falls in line. And so this just lets us know how important self-image is. Now, most important, we know that self-image can be changed, and this goes back to how I like to say we're all made of clay, right? We all can change. And we know it's not an easy process, but knowing that at any age, we can start a new life. And it starts with expanding our self-image. And so this is amazing because it's just opens up possibilities, right? It removes limitations and it opens up possibilities and hope and excitement for your life and your future. So a big concept that Maxwell Maltz goes into, now keep in mind, he's a medical doctor and he's scientific. So he's looking at these intangible mechanisms that are happening in people's psyches, and he's trying to quantify them and classify them for us. And so what he came up with is that every one of us has an impersonal, goal-striving servo mechanism. So that sounds like a lot of gibberish, right? And this is where the cybernetics part of Psycho-Cybernetics comes into play. And to be honest with you, this name, Psycho-Cybernetics, didn't really mean anything to me before I read it. And I've had people tell me to read it before I ever did. But the name was like, what is that? That just sounds like a big science word. But really, when you look at it, knowing that cybernetics is this, it's a mechanism, a goal-striving mechanism. So when you look at it and it's like, okay, psycho is psyche, right? So our mind, and then a goal-striving mechanism. So we want to expand our blueprint of ourselves. And you think of, okay, using my mind's ability to strive for a goal is essentially what this name means. And he came to that by determining that whether we use it or not, inside of us, in our minds, we have this mechanism that is constantly striving towards goals. So we have this impersonal, goal-striving servo mechanism in us. And when you really think about it, we are goal-striving beings. Maxwell Maltz says man is a goal-striving being. We're always working towards a goal, whether consciously or not. And so when we understand how to utilize our inborn goal-striving servo mechanism, this machine inside of us that's going to, very much like a missile, if you give it a goal and you launch it, it takes in feedback and it senses if it's on track, and it recalibrates and it adjusts to wind and all these different things until it hits the target. And so Maxwell Maltz is saying, hey, you have that mechanism inside of you. So if you can start to give yourself these targets, these goals, you can put this in motion and have it work for you. Have it get you to that next level in life. So give it a problem. Give your goal-striving servo mechanism a problem to work on, and give it the mental images of where you want it to go. What does the target look like? What does the target feel like, right? It's going to do it. And so the way to do that is to use our imagination. So that leads us to number 3, which is really the power of imagination. And I love this concept that if your will, like what you want, and your imagination, what you think about, what you picture, where you mentally go, if these are in conflict, your imagination will always win. And it seems so simple because we're using our imagination all day long. If you think about the act of worrying, right? When you worry about something, what do? You imagine it happening. You feel the feelings of of dread or anxiety or fear related to this thing that might happen, and you walk yourself through the scenario, right? What you're doing there is you're activating your servo mechanism, and so then you're turning it into a failure mechanism. And that's the thing. This servo mechanism inside of us is impersonal. It will take you to success if that's what you plug in, or it's going to take you to failure if that's what you plug in, right? It's impersonal. It's just the way your mind works. And so understanding this and being able to consciously think about, where do I want to go? What do I want to become? You know, I always say we're in this state of becoming, right? Constantly, our whole life, we're becoming this next version of ourselves. And so what am I going to become, right? It's what you plug in, and you do that using mental imagery. The reason that this works, the reason that spending time imagining and feeling the feelings that would go along with imagining yourself in this next role, the reason it works is that it's said that our nervous system can't distinguish between a scenario that we imagine with clarity and feelings and the real thing. And so they use this with athletes as well. When, you have your basketball player who can go out there and do free throw after free throw and practice. And then you've got another one where they have him do it all mentally and to go through it with such clarity in his mind. It shows that they both can improve at the same rate, or because he has more access to his mind than someone does to a basketball court, he can excel even faster. And so this is really exciting when you understand the power that you really have. This theater of your mind where you can play these scenarios out and these experiences and this next version of yourself, playing it over and over in your mind with clarity, is how we expand our self-image. So that blueprint, this is when you go into your mental imagery and you imagine yourself in the next role that you want to be in, or you imagine yourself having accomplished that next big thing, and you experience it mentally and emotionally, what you're doing is you're rewriting this blueprint that you have. You're being very intentional about it. So to put this into action, it really takes the time and dedication to spend 20 or 30 minutes imagining yourself accomplishing that next thing. Okay, let's use weight loss as an example. And this is such a tangible thing, right? Like, I want to lose 20 pounds and I want to do it in the next 4 months, right? How do we use our goal-striving servo mechanism to help us do that? Well, Maxwell Maltz would say, you're going to spend 30 minutes a day in the theater of your mind, and you're going to experience life 20 pounds lighter. And whatever event is happening in 4 months where you want to show up looking your best, feeling your best, you're going to mentally go there. Let's just say it's a family reunion. You could sit, you could walk. I love to do this when I run because there's also, bilateral stimulation happening. So if you're on a walk, maybe after work every day, you go for a walk or a jog, and you're going to mentally go there, and you're going to see yourself, and you're going to look at the outfit that you're wearing because it's a different size, and you're going to imagine interacting with all these relatives that you haven't seen, right? All these people that you're gathering with, and you're going to imagine their reaction to you and how you feel in that moment. And you do this every day for that 20 to 30 minutes. And this is giving your goal-striving servo mechanism a target, a very clear target. And that's all it needs, is this clear target to adjust your self-image and to really help you in ways that you don't even know how it's working to get there, to achieve this goal. And this is such an incredible discovery that Maxwell Maltz made, and the fact that it's worked and it continues to work for so many high achievers, it tells us there's something here. He's onto something. So I do challenge you to really put this to work and to come up with a target. And, maybe it's a weight loss target. Maybe it's a goal that you have to achieve at work or whatever it might be in your life. But find a target and spend 20 to 30 minutes every single day really mentally going there. It's almost like you're trying on this accomplishment in your mind. And you're feeling, what does it feel like to accomplish this? What does it feel like to be this person, this version of myself? And Maxwell Maltz does let us know that this doesn't happen instantly. And really, he says at least 21 days is how much you have to invest to really get that target locked in and to make this success mechanism happen. So give it at least 21 days, and hopefully you will find that the process it feels good, right? I mean, look at what you're doing. You're spending time and you're immersing yourself in the version of yourself that you want to have come true, the version of yourself that you are striving for. And so it's almost like you're trying on a upgraded version of your reality. And you can get really good at imagining and feeling. And it's so cool as you get competent in this skill to get to the place where when you visualize things so clearly that you have utter confidence that it will happen in real life. And it almost gets to the place where the fact that it's still here and it's not in real life yet almost doesn't matter because you're so confident and you're just on a timeline and it's going to happen. You get to that level of confidence with the growth of your self-image. It's an incredible place to be. And it all starts with just spending 20 to 30 minutes intentionally going into the theater of your mind, trying on this upgraded version of yourself and helping it to become your reality. So your extra credit this week is to read Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz or listen to it on Audible. This is an updated version. The original was written in 1960. This is an updated, expanded version. They made it modern, and it's an incredible book. It is something that will truly help you in your self-development journey. So what do you think? I want to hear what you think about this whole self-image psychology. Have you read Psycho-Cybernetics already? Did it make sense? Have you experienced your own goal-striving mechanism? Has this worked for you? So let me know in the comments below. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Share it with someone who needs this message. So thank you so much. I will be back next week with more content.
Thanks for watching Developing Potential with Diana Keuilian.